Employers tend to see a pile of CVs. Applicants see one application.
If you only hire the best interviewer, you might miss the best employee.
Small businesses operate in small worlds. The way you treat people you don't hire is a preview of how you'll treat the people you do.
Hiring someone is one of the biggest decisions a small business owner makes. Get it right, and your business grows. Get it wrong, and it's expensive, exhausting, and sometimes it damages your reputation. Today, the mindset behind doing this well.
Most business owners go into a recruitment campaign with one goal in mind: find the right person, which makes complete sense. That's the job. But there's a second goal that gets almost no attention, and it matters more than most owners realize. Run a process that treats every applicant fairly, clearly, and with basic human decency. These two goals aren't in competition. In fact, the businesses that do the second one well almost always do the first one better too. Because when your process is structured, equitable, and respectful, you attract better candidates, you make clearer decisions, and you don't accidentally filter out the best person for reasons that have nothing to do with ability. This video is for everyone who hires people, and with the help of recruitment consultant Kat, we'll debunk the mindset on how to do it well, for you and your applicants. Before we get into how to find the right candidate, let's talk about something most employers never consider. Every person who applies to your role has a story. Maybe they've been job hunting for 6 months. Maybe they're desperate to leave a toxic workplace. Maybe they've finally worked up the courage to go for something that feels a bit of a stretch. And unless they handed the whole thing to an AI, which plenty of people do, they'd probably spend hours on that application, reading the job description carefully, researching your company, rewriting their cover letter 3 times.
I know candidates who spent 3 days on an application. 3 days. Carefully tailoring every word, genuinely believing this could be the one. And that investment of time and hope is real, regardless of whether they get an interview. Employers tend to see a pile of CVs. Applicants see one application, theirs. That gap in perspective is where things go wrong.
That doesn't mean you owe every applicant an interview, or even lengthy feedback. It does mean you owe them the basic courtesy of a response, and recognition you read their application. Let's talk about ghosting, because it's rife, it's avoidable, and for small businesses in particular, it's quietly damaging. Ghosting in recruitment means an applicant never hears back. Not a rejection, not an acknowledgement, nothing. The most common stage is before shortlisting. They apply, meanwhile you or someone else decides they're not right, and the applicant just waits. Weeks go by. The job disappears from the site, still nothing.
I've had that happen to me personally. Applied for a role I was genuinely excited about, had relevant experience, and heard absolutely nothing. You start to wonder whether it even arrived. Then you notice the job's gone from their website and you realize you've been silently rejected. It's a horrible feeling, and I've since seen it from the other side too. Employers who just don't think about what it feels like.
For large corporations, ghosting is bad practice. For small businesses, it can be genuinely costly. People talk. Someone who felt ignored by your hiring process will mention it to friends, colleagues, people in your industry. In tight-knit sectors or local communities, word travels fast.
Exactly, Amy. That talented candidate you ghosted, they might be a future customer, or the friend of one, or the person who would have recommended you to someone else.
A respectful rejection email costs almost nothing to send. The damage from not sending it can be surprisingly significant. But what does a fair process actually look like in mindset terms? Not the tactics, we'll cover those tomorrow, but the underlying attitude.
It starts with recognizing that your recruitment process is public-facing. It's a window into your business. Every touchpoint, the job ad, the acknowledgement email, the timeline you set, the way you communicate, tells applicants what kind of employer you are.
So that means treat it like you're not just hiring, you're representing the company's culture?
Yes, and that's worth treating seriously. The business I've seen run genuinely good campaigns share one thing. They've thought about the experience from the applicant's side before the campaign even launches. How long will people wait before they hear anything? What happens if someone has a disability and needs adjustments? Will we tell people upfront whether we're interviewing as we go along, so they don't miss out because they spent time perfecting their application while we'd already filled the role? Or are we shortlisting after the closing date? That matters a lot. These aren't complicated questions, but most employers never ask them.
The last point from Kat is really relevant. Dynamic interviewing, where you interview and potentially hire before the closing date, can mean a strong candidate misses out, simply because they took their time getting it right. Telling people upfront how they're running the process is basic fairness, and it costs you nothing. Now to the other half of this. Because none of what we've said means you should compromise on who you hire. The goal is still to find the very best person for the role. But here's where mindset matters. A lot of small business owners, particularly those hiring for the first time or after a bad experience, go with their gut instinct. The candidate they have the best rapport with. The one who tells them what they want to hear.
I've seen this so many times. For every owner who gets it right, I've equally seen one being hoodwinked by a great player. They're typically ultra-confident, which gives the employer the reassurance they need. But all too often, there's no substance behind the charade.
I can picture them now. Is there also a bit of association bias in there? Someone like the last person who did the job well? Someone they'd naturally get on with? Someone who reminds them, just a little, of themselves?
Absolutely. It's so common. And research from the Chartered Institute of Personnel and Development consistently shows that unstructured, instinct-led hiring is one of the least reliable ways to predict job performance.
What's the solution?
Start by being clear about what the role actually needs, not what feels familiar. Be clear about this before the first CV lands. I always advise clients to add a person specification to every job description and use it to measure every applicant's suitability. That means thinking hard about what knowledge, skills, and behaviours are genuinely essential. Then be honest about which of those are nice to have, the desirable list. I always ask employers, if you took away the CV, the covering letter, the interview bravado, plus the nerves, and could only see how someone performed in the actual role, what would matter? That question cuts through a lot of noise.
Perhaps the best hire you'll ever make is someone who interviews awkwardly, but works brilliantly. Or whose background looks unconventional but whose skills are exactly what you need. If you only hire the best interviewer, you might miss the best employee. So, here's the mindset to carry into any recruitment campaign you run. Find the best. Respect the rest. They're not in competition. A fair, structured process tends to surface better candidates, not fewer. Treat everyone as you'd want yourself or your son or daughter to be treated. Be transparent about timelines, how you're running things, and what applicants can expect. It attracts better candidates and builds trust before day one. Challenge your instincts. The best candidate and the most comfortable candidate are often not the same person.
I'd add one. Small businesses operate in small worlds. The way you treat people you don't hire is a preview of how you'll treat the people you do. Good candidates notice that, and they tell others.
Recruitment done well isn't just about filling a role. It's a chance to show the kind of business you're building to the person you hire and to everyone else who applied. Tomorrow is about the essential tactics to find your perfect hire.